on the channel, here's the story of two brothers named Rick and Scott. They don't use drugs, and they're always on top with the WWE Mattel Ultimate Ringside Collectibles exclusive, Steiner Brothers.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another WWE Mattel Ultimate Edition unboxing and review. And today on the channel we got the Steiner Brothers, finally the Ringside Collectibles exclusive. And of course, for all your Steiner Brother needs and a whole lot more, better hit up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. And here we are, tail end of 2024. Steiner Brothers finally shipping out to us. Feels like these were announced years ago. Obviously, it was much earlier this year. I believe it was WrestleMania time frame, if I'm not mistaken. So we've been waiting for these almost a year at this point, and I'm hoping they don't let us down, because the Steiner Brothers, if you're a kid like me growing up in the 80s and early 90s, the Steiner Brothers were a big, big deal, and still a big deal to a lot of people here. Of course, we did get, I guess, late WCW career versions of Scott and Rick Steiner. Obviously needed those in the collection, but not what a lot of people were looking for. This is more akin to what the masses have been wanting from their Steiner Brothers figures. And to make it even better, we got them in ultimate form right here. And of course, we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. And as I said, long delay in between Steiner Brothers figures and announcements. Nobody has said officially from Mattel, and they're not going to tell us anyways, but Rick Steiner had some controversial comments at the 2023 WrestleMania, and I think that maybe put an end to a lot of things. Or was it 2024? What is time? I think it was 2023, wasn't it? Pretty sure it was 2023. That really put the Steiners on ice. Mattel might not say either way. It seemingly did that. They waited for it to blow over, I guess, and now here we are. And I'm hopeful we get a lot more Steiner Brothers in the future at a little quicker clip, because you never know how long we'll have some of these guys under contract, as we do know. Also, of course, I should mention this, a lot of things going around the Facebook groups, internet, stuff like that, some quality issues. And we did a top 5 countdown on the channel of top quality issues from Mattel, or top issues with Mattel WWE figures. And unfortunately, a lot of people getting, for whatever reason, a Rick Steiner and a Target exclusive Ultimate Vader in these. And when I say a lot, maybe 5 people so far. And we always know about the vocal minority there, but very interesting when the issues continue. We've had a lot of paint issues. I got a little paint issue on my Rick Steiner, unfortunately. We'll see in a second. Some of the paint issues, some of the quality control issues, and now some of the packaging issues. So really some struggles with Mattel over the last 6 months, and it's been unfortunate. Hopefully the new year around the corner, hopefully things after Chinese New Year's maybe get straightened out, because some of those things are pretty easy to fix, you would hope. I would hope. But enough jibber jabber out of me. Let's dive into the figures here. And we're going to look at the shipper box. I always do save these shipper box. Ringside exclusive right there. Got the half faces of the Steiners. Steiners down the middle. Kind of Michigan colors going on, I would say. Steiner Brothers, Rick and Scott. WWE 1993. So not WCW, not NWA versions of the Steiners. This is early, of course, feuding with Money Inc., things like that, the Head Shrinkers, you name it, from the WWE, WWF at the time. Really hopeful we get some more WCW Steiners in the future. We'll see what happens there. Ultimate Edition, jibber and jabber on the bottom, and that's kind of it there. But nice shipper box out there on the outside. Now, diving into the Ultimate figures, we're going to go older brother first. That's what we're going to do right here. We're going to go to Rick Steiner, the old dog-faced gremlin, of course. And I remember before the Steiners teamed up, him being, I think, TV champion, just a solo competitor out there in the WCW, NWA landscape. Of course, him and Scott teamed up a couple of years after that, and the rest was truly history, as we do know. But there's the old dog-faced gremlin in a classic singlet there. Got a little smudge on his forehead. We'll see how bad that is in person. Extra hands. You do got the Michigan jacket, and we'll talk about that as well. We got the dog-faced gremlin looking only like a dog-faced gremlin could look if he was a realtor and a school board member. That's what he would look like right there. WWE classic logo there. Rick Steiner over there. Then on the back, you get the glamour shot of the man. You get the glamour shot of the figure. You got the tail of the tape. You got the blurb. Let's see what it says about our old friend, Rick Steiner. Height 5'11" from Detroit, Michigan. Rumors from the couch, Todd McFarlane, that he lived right down the street from good friend of the channel, Jeff George. And Jeff, feel free to fact check that if you were tight with the dog-faced gremlin as a kid. Finisher, Flying Bulldog. Career highlights, WWE Tag Team Champion, WCW Tag Team Champion. The Steiner brothers are one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. Older brother Rick began his career as a single star before his younger brother Scott joined forces with him. Together they were 9-time tag team champions, including 2 WWE Tag Team Championship reigns. And I think I'm like the majority of people, when I think of Steiners as a tag team, I think of classic WCW with that classic tag division at the time. I think a little bit of the WWE, WWF run, but not as fondly as the NWA, WCW years for sure. But man, very, very cool here. To get Rick Steiner, we're going to open it up here, and we're going to hit you with the Steiner line right there. And then, of course, the dog-faced gremlin on the other side. Get the old package here off to the side. See you later, goodbye. Time for the old plastic prison. There it is, the plastic of prison ready to go. We got extra heads for Mr. Steiner here. Of course, 2 heads are better than 1, and when you need more than 2, you go for 3. See you later, goodbye. Some extra hands here. Happy to see we get extra sets of hands. That CM Punk we just recently unboxed on the channel only had 2 extra hands. I felt that was a little short for an Ultimate, of course. There it is. Uh-oh, we're locked in and I forgot my scissors. I had to use them to cut something else. Can I power through? Can we power through? Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Missing the scissors. Hate to miss those guys. And snap, snap, crackle, pop. Rice Krispies. See you later. Goodbye. All right. Let's get down to business. Let's get down to the dog-faced gremlin business right here today. And we're going to start off with some of these extra hands. So we got 2 gripping hands right out of the package right there. You do get the splayed out, maniacal hands. He's like this. He's ready to go. He's going to claw you like a cat is what he's going to do. We get those. And then, of course, you got to have the Fist of Fury. Rick Steiner, I absolutely loved his punches. For whatever reason, as a little kid, always loved Rick Steiner, and I loved his punches. So there you go. Especially when he threw them in bunches. That was the best. But now we get the old Michigan Letterman's jacket right here. Classic Steiners, as we know. Unfortunately, no M logo on here, and I said it from the day these were announced. Have to imagine third-party companies will make you a little M to stick on there. But I am actually shocked, at least maybe I missed it. I haven't seen any third-party companies making those Michigan jacket M's. Maybe in the future we'll see some of that, but it's close enough to be dangerous. I would rather have this than nothing at all, but man, you just wish you could get that M, but I get the reasons not to have that on there. But looking good. And Velcro in the front, of course. Kind of got that pleather feel on there. Have to imagine same jackets between the two, so we'll see the other one with Scott Steiner. So we'll wait for that. But now let's dive into old Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin. He does feel a little bit leaner than I imagined him to be. Maybe that's fair enough. A lot of people complained about his past Elite, and then this Elite has the same, those skinnier legs. He did have thicker legs. Not the end of the world to me, but I know a lot of people are really disappointed in the leg selection for this Rick Steiner. Is what it is at this point. No changing it now, I guess. But let's dive into the head sculpt on this. I did say I got a little bit of paint mark up there on the forehead. Not the end of the world. Got a little extra paint as well on the big mustache there. Like a young Goose Gossage is what he's looking like with that. So we do got some paint inaccuracies there. He does have the headgear attached over here in green. I remember as a little kid changing my headgear because I wrestled and I put, as a little kid, you had to do these kind of things. And I wanted to be like the dog-faced gremlin. I used to wear the mix match colors, and I actually did that on mine. This one is all green, though, for instance, on this one right here. You do get the black hair, of course, for Rick Steiner to match the mustache there, but it looks like Rick Steiner. I don't got too many problems with this outside of the paint problems on there. Unfortunately, we're seeing more and more of that. Like I said, the quality issue is still running wild here. Rick Steiner, the second head here, he's got the unstrapped version. Ooh, I like this. So it does strap in like so. So this plugs in, the headgear plugs in. It looks like it might be pretty hard to plug in, but it is unstrappable. So that is very, very nice. That's something different you normally don't see. This one is painted on. This one actually comes unstrapped if you want it to. So put it together, pull it off, choose your own adventure. He's gritting and bearing it. He's got the big teeth. He's ready to go up for the top rope bulldog with this one. Good head sculpt for Rick Steiner. Third and final head sculpt. This is Rick Steiner when he had a stroke. Unfortunately, it happened to everybody eventually, I think. But he's got a little stroke going on. I got the long face there, almost looking like Ash from The Evil Dead. I understand what it's supposed to represent. It's supposed to have him doing his dog chant, woof, woof, doing that kind of stuff. I get it, but boy, I don't know if I would display this one. It's just a little too much and a little proportion looks a little strange to me. But of course, I'd still know it is Rick Steiner, even with the long face. How about that? But an interesting one if there ever was one. And this one also plugs in on the side if that is your thing, so you can plug it there on the side. A little hard to get to stay, but I think you can work it in there. But the strap will connect if you want to. But now, diving into old Rick Steiner here. And Rick, he's got all the counting numbers on here. And of course, that is Rick Steiner. Not the best with numbers at this age in his life. So if he was ever questioning some numbers and stuff, he just looked to the singlet for the answer. You got the chest hair. Obviously, no real fur chest hair. Mattel's too scared to do that. So they got the regular chest hair on this one here. We do got some of the tattoos going on Rick Steiner. The old gremlin on the side looking very nice. The old dog face gremlin. And it doesn't even look like a G. Maybe it's my eyes, I don't know, but it looks like the do-face gremlin instead of the dog-face gremlin. It looks like it's 2 O's right there. So we'll see. Maybe the glamour shots will be a little bit better on that one. I do got some separation on the plastic. I'm trying to push that back in. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Some separation up there on the shoulder. So your mileage may vary on that one. Talked about the numbers singlet. Very, very iconic, of course, in pink. Not the first time, probably not the last time we've got this singlet in the line as well. He does got those skinny legs we mentioned. He just got 2 black knee pads. Then they really got it down to the details here with the mixed match shoes. Always love that for Rick Steiner's. Like I said about the headgear, also the shoes as well. You got a traditional wrestling boot, a pro wrestling boot over on this one, the white and red attack. Red and I guess a yellow on this one, more of a traditional wrestling style shoe, I guess we'll call that one there. Arms all the way around for him, of course, and of course you do get the shoulder, butterfly shoulder there, feeling really good. Arms are removable, so if you want to pull the arms out for whatever reason, you can do that. Bicep cut, double jointed, pinless elbows, hands back and forth, side to side. He's got the tape on the hands, tape on the wrist. Hula hoop up top, traditional waist. Got those big old Rick Steiner splits. You know he's ready to do the splits at a moment's notice. Got the drop down hips as well. Got the Rick Steiner leg. It does have some of that bounce back. It's like a new action feature we're seeing from Mattel as of late the last 6 months. So we do have some of that. Just means that right, for whatever reason, on a lot of these elites, the right leg is so much tighter. I don't understand why that's going on. Hopefully, like I said, that'll be fixed in early 2025. Double jointed knees here. They look to be pinless. I'm here for some pinless joints. Looking good there. Boot cut. Can't remember if I mentioned it or not. Thigh cut on him. Boot cut. Ankles back, forth, side to side, up and down. And Todd, you'd be happy to know from the couch, we do got toe articulation here on Rick Steiner, along with those new ankle joints on this one here. But a little rough in that right leg. A little rough in the movability. Geez, easy for me to say. I don't know what's going on. Movability there in that leg, but you do got the bounce back and stuff. So that's a little disappointing. Been waiting for these Steiners for a long time. It's going to hinder him getting in some dynamic posing, if that is your thing. He does fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. The old dog face gremlin looking good there. We do got the Jakks Classic Superstars version of this Rick Steiner. Of course, going back to the singlet, he's got that same thing going on. So cool to see that many, many years later in the Jakks version. And then, of course, his son, Braun Breaker, just recently had a singlet in the Elite line like this one. An amazing Braun Breaker figure. A very cool homage. Oh, don't start, Todd. I hear you already. Homage, homage, homage. Yeah, we know. They know what I'm talking about, Todd McFarlane. But you do got that looking good. And then, of course, the end of the career, late day WCW Rick Steiner going on right there. So cool to get some other versions of the old dog-faced gremlin himself, and one to go along with his son, Braun Breaker, tearing it up as Intercontinental Champion right now. So now we're going to finish off the Steiner brothers. We're going to finish it off with, of course, Scott Steiner, probably the most popular, the most decorated Steiner brother. Obviously had quite the solo career after the Steiners broke up. But there it is, old Scott Steiner looking only like he could look back in the 90s in the WWE. Of course, Scott Steiner up top, big bubble window, Ultimate Edition. Old Scotty Steiner right there with a mullet you could set Grandma's watch to. Scott Steiner on the side. And then on the back, you got the glamour shot of the man, the myth, the legend, and of course the action figure as well. Tail of the tape, got the blurb. Let's see what it says about old Scotty Steiner. Height 6'1" from Detroit, Michigan. Beautiful this time of year. Finisher, the Frankensteiner, such a game changer for a little Kyle back in the day. Now kids have just seen everything 10 times over. But man, the Steiner brothers and some of that offense they brought in the early 90s was just unbelievable. Career highlights: WWE Tag Team Champion, WCW Tag Team Champion. The Amateur Wrestling All-American joined his brother Rick to form one of the most dominant tag teams of all time. A combination of power, athleticism, and technical prowess. What about speed? The younger of the Steiner brothers dominated opponents before finishing them off with his patented Frankensteiner. Love that top rope Frankensteiner. There's so many great moves. The Steiner line. I mean, between Rick and Scott, they just had some amazing moves across the landscape of professional wrestling. And I love Scott Steiner's DDT back in the day as well. A lot of great DDTs along the way. And of course, Frankenstein. Feed my Frankensteiner, Alice Cooper style. And then on the side back here, you got the Steiner brothers. Short and sweet is what that one is. Like a young Sabrina Carpenter. That's what that's like right there. Got old Big Papa Pump before he was Big Papa Pump out of there in the plastic prison. And then very reminiscent of his brother Rick, you get the jacket, you get the extra hands. Looks like the same hands too, I believe. Yeah, it looks like the same hands. Of course, probably the same jacket. See you later, goodbye. And we're going to try to pull him out of this plastic prison. You got to be careful here. No scissors to help guide us. There we go. And can he slip out of the handcuffs? We know Scotty slipped out of a handcuff a time or two. We know he's done that. See you later, goodbye. Over in the Michigan days, I'm sure he did. He slipped out of a couple of handcuffs. And now we're down to business here. So we got the gripping hands out of the package. 2 fists of fury. And then, of course, the 2 maniacal hands as well. No tape on the hands here, no wrist tape, anything like that on Scotty, making him different from his brother. Talking about the jacket, are they different? Are they the same? And oh my gosh, they are different. How about that? So, very similar, obviously, but you get a more bright fluorescent yellow on Scott Steiner on the arms and the pockets. Now, could these be the same jacket? And this is just representing, you know, the age difference between them. Rick had an older jacket and it faded, and this was more bright and vibrant. Not exactly sure, but I like that the jackets are different, and I think that is true to form, true to life. But I could see Mattel taking the easy way out, and I don't think anybody would have really complained too much. Maybe that's just me, though. But now we're going to dive into the heads for Scott Steiner. Very interesting as it's not the new True Effects technology on the heads on these either. It's like they got a picture and they kind of designed it old school way, which I don't always hate as well, but they don't look similar to some of the recent elites in the face sculpts or the face technology, whatever we want to call it at this point. But at this point, we can call it one of the best mullets of all time. We can definitely call that right there. Scotty, kind of a stern face going on in this one. 2 ears, 2 eyes, a nose and a mouth, playing those human hits. Scott Steiner getting it done. Second head, more of what I think of with Scott Steiner of this generation. He's got a little bit of a smirk, smiling face, a little bit of teeth showing there. Probably going to use that one. And then the third and final head got more of a mad face, a little bit of an open mouth. I would have liked to seen a little bit more expression out of at least one of these heads. They're all very, very similar for the most part. I would have liked to seen a little screaming head or something like that. But is what it is once again. But looking good. I know this is Scott Steiner just like Rick from all 3 of these heads. Articulation going to be identical to his brother Rick, so we don't really need to walk through the articulation on Scott Steiner too much right here. But we're going to see if it is sticking in the places it is with Rick, and I guess we'll check that right now. Look at that. That is perfect. So the right leg, it stands up just like that. That's how they should be, where Rick's was, of course, bouncing back. Don't have that issue with Scotty Steiner's there, but we do got a little issue with a little bit of a bobblehead nature on the head there. And we've seen that with some of the Mattel Elites as well. Not the end of the world. I'd rather have a bobblehead than a tight leg where you can't even pose them. So it's a little of this, a little of that, a little bit of the other. Pick your poison, what your biggest gripes are, I guess is what it would be there. But everything else seems to work pretty good. All the other articulation can be identical to Rick Steiner, as I said. Happy that that leg does go up really good. Now, of course, the singlet here for Scott, very colorful, very wild. Looks like he walked out of a Bayside High wrestling room with one AC Slater. It looks like early 90s kind of fluorescent, crazy colors, kind of surfer culture colors as well. Very bright, very vibrant, and the Steiner brothers, of course, living their best life in the 90s, as we know as well. Jacked up, Scotty Steiner, he's jacked up in the body type here, of course. Went to even bigger heights as Big Papa Pump, and I have to imagine we'll get a Big Papa Pump Ultimate in the future. We'll stay tuned to that. This could be Rick Steiner's only Ultimate. I don't know if he will get another Ultimate unless it's part of the Steiner brothers tag team, but I could see a single versions of Scott Steiner in the future in the Ultimate line. White boots here with kind of a rusty brown color, bronze color. How about that? For the shoelaces there. 2 knee pads here in blue. So you got the same legs as his brother. Look to be the exact same legs. And we do remember, especially at this time, Rick Steiner was thicker, bigger, more muscular as far as size-wise than Scotty. So maybe we should have had different legs between the two. Maybe that's just me, though, once again. But looking good. It still looks like Scott Steiner. Oh, my gosh. I'm seeing it once again. We got a bunch of paint splattered over onto the side there of the boot. So once again, we got some paint problems here. We saw it on the forehead here. Shoulder separation here. We also had some leg issues there. Man, there's a lot of quality issues with some of these Mattel figures lately, and we spend a lot of money on our figures. You know, they got to get that kind of stuff fixed, unfortunately. So things happen. We know they went to a new factory in Vietnam, and I guess really that pinpoints to everything. And I'm hoping this Vietnam factory, wherever it is, probably deep in the jungle somewhere. If you're in the Vietnam factory, shout out in the comments below. But I think they're struggling trying to dial in these figures. And that's usually how it works a lot of times. No matter what you're producing, food and stuff like that, it takes some test bakes, takes some test runs to get all the stuff figured out. And I don't know, time is money, and that's how it is in those factories. So they're wanting to rush everything through, I am imagining there. But it does say made in Vietnam right there on the feet. And of course, he should fit on a Mattel ringside collectible stand. And what do you know? Scotty, just like his brother, going to fit on that stand as well. So very, very cool to get the Steiner brothers back in the saddle again. We do got Big Papa Pump here. Of course, we got this one a while back. Not shocked to see this one probably in a future re-release. Paint these tights a different color. I could see that happening. But I'm very interested in a, hopefully one day, ultimate version of Big Papa Pump. Have to imagine that's the next Steiner's ultimate figure. If I was a betting man, put my money down in Vegas. But man, still very cool. Some interesting issues that are going to be a mileage may vary for you. A few issues on mine. Hopefully yours are a little bit better than mine, or hopefully they're the same. Let's just make everybody equal, or maybe not. But very, very cool at the end of the day to get the Steiner brothers in the Ultimate line. A kid like me growing up in the 80s and 90s, the Steiners were a heck of a big thing. So very cool to represent my child heroes here in the Ultimate Edition line. Of course, a ringside collectible exclusive. But what are your thoughts on these Steiner brothers? They pickups for you? Passes? Long games? No games? Not the no game. Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you made it this far, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bell as we got videos every single day. And then some. Got even more content for you on Patreon, of course. Early access to both of my YouTube channels, giveaways, you name it. All going down on Patreon. Appreciate the support over there. ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. Pick up a t-shirt while you're there. SirPaul64 on the X. Now on TikTok. Check me out over there. _Kyle_Peterson on Threads. And on Instagram. So for the Ultimate Edition Steiner Brothers, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.